What if the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want isn't a lack of talent, money, connections, or opportunity? What if it's simply that you're spending too much time preparing to act and not enough time actually acting? Nearly 400 years ago, a Japanese swordsman named Miyamoto Musashi wrote the Book of Five Rings. He wasn't writing a modern self-help book. He wasn't talking about morning routines, productivity apps, or motivational quotes. He was talking about strategy, discipline, awareness, and mastery. And yet, somehow, his ideas still speak directly to the problems we face today. Because whether you're building a business, pursuing a career, trying to become healthier, improving your relationships, or simply trying to become a stronger version of yourself, the battle is often the same. You have distractions, you have fear, you have doubt, you have setbacks, and sometimes your greatest opponent isn't another person, it's you. So in this video, we're going to explore 5 powerful lessons from Musashi's Book of Five Rings and translate them into something practical for modern life. Not as a guide to fighting other people, but as a guide to mastering yourself. And if you find this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because around here, we're not chasing perfection. We're building discipline, one day at a time. One of Musashi's most important ideas is that mastery doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from walking the path consistently. Think about that. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they are inconsistent. They get excited on Monday, they make a plan. They promise themselves that this time will be different. Then Tuesday comes, Wednesday arrives. By Friday, the motivation has disappeared, and suddenly the couch looks like the greatest invention in human history. Musashi understood something that modern psychology keeps confirming. You cannot build mastery on motivation alone. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline has to stay. There will be days when you don't feel like working. There will be mornings when your alarm goes off and every cell in your body says, absolutely not. There will be moments when progress seems painfully slow. That's when discipline matters most. The important question isn't, do I feel motivated today? The better question is, what does the person I want to become do today? If you want to become a writer, write. If you want to become financially successful, learn about money and make better decisions. If you want to become physically stronger, train. If you want to become knowledgeable, study. If you want to become confident, keep doing difficult things until difficulty becomes familiar. The path doesn't become easier because you wish for it. You become better at walking it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody is coming to rescue your potential. You can have extraordinary talent and still waste your life. You can have brilliant ideas and never execute them. You can have enormous dreams and still spend years scrolling through somebody else's life. At some point, you have to decide that your future deserves your effort. Musashi's lesson is simple. Choose your path, then walk it. Not occasionally, not when you feel inspired, every day. One of the most powerful themes in the Book of Five Rings is awareness. Musashi emphasized understanding yourself, your opponent, and your environment. In modern life, that first part is incredibly important. Know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What distracts you? What makes you procrastinate? What situations bring out your best? What situations cause you to make terrible decisions? Most people spend enormous amounts of time studying other people. They watch what successful people are doing. They compare themselves to friends. They study competitors. They look at social media and wonder why everyone else's life appears to be moving faster. But they rarely study themselves. And that's a problem, because you can't create an effective strategy if you don't understand the person executing it. Maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you're overwhelmed. Maybe you don't lack ambition. Maybe your goals are unclear. Maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe you need fewer distractions. Self-awareness allows you to stop fighting imaginary battles. Imagine someone trying to become successful while staying awake until 2 in the morning every night, watching random videos. They might say, "I need more motivation." No, they might need to put the phone down. Another person might constantly compare their progress to someone 10 years ahead of them. They don't need more confidence. They need perspective. Someone else might have 10 different goals, but never finish one. They don't necessarily need more ambition. They need focus. The first battle is often internal. And if you don't understand your own habits, emotions, weaknesses, and patterns, you will keep repeating the same mistakes while expecting different results. So take some time to study yourself. Ask yourself difficult questions. What am I avoiding? Where am I wasting time? What do I keep making excuses about? What would change if I stopped seeking everyone's approval? And perhaps the most important question, what kind of person am I becoming through my daily habits? Because your habits are quietly voting for your future. Every day you're casting a vote. You're either becoming more disciplined or less disciplined, more courageous or more fearful, more focused or more distracted, more capable or more dependent. The transformation doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens through thousands of small decisions. Know yourself, then build accordingly. Musashi's philosophy also teaches the importance of maintaining a calm mind. And this lesson is desperately relevant today. We live in a world designed to make us react. Someone posts something we dislike. We get angry. Someone criticizes us. We immediately respond. Something goes wrong at work. We panic. Someone succeeds before us. We become jealous. We experience failure. We decide we're not good enough. But here's the problem. If other people's actions can completely control your emotional state, they are effectively controlling you. Being calm doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It means your emotions don't automatically become your decisions. There is a difference between feeling anger and acting from anger. There is a difference between feeling fear and allowing fear to decide your future. There is a difference between experiencing disappointment and allowing disappointment to become your identity. Think about how many bad decisions are made in moments of emotional intensity. Messages sent while angry. Money spent impulsively. Relationships damaged because someone refused to pause. Opportunities abandoned because failure felt embarrassing. Musashi's warrior mindset reminds us to create space between what happens and how we respond. Something happens. Pause, observe, then choose. That pause can change your life. Imagine receiving criticism. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself. Instead, pause. Ask, is there anything useful here? If there is, learn from it. If there isn't, let it go. Imagine failing at something. Your first thought might be, I'm terrible at this. Pause. A failure is an event. It is not your identity. You failed at something. That doesn't mean you are a failure. You lost money. That doesn't mean you are financially doomed. Someone rejected you. That doesn't mean you're unworthy. You made a mistake. That doesn't mean your story is over. The disciplined person learns how to experience emotion without becoming a prisoner of it. And this is where real strength begins. Not when you can control everyone around you, but when you can control yourself. Musashi's philosophy places enormous value on understanding the essentials, and that brings us to one of the greatest problems of modern life. We have too much. Too many notifications, too many opinions, too many goals, too many distractions, too many people telling us what we should want. And sometimes the reason we're not moving forward isn't because we lack information. It's because we have too much of it. You can watch 1,000 motivational videos and still never take action. You can read 50 books about business and never start the business. You can research exercise routines for 6 months and never go to the gym. At some point, knowledge has to become action. Musashi's approach encourages us to strip away unnecessary complexity. What actually matters? What is the objective? What needs to be done next? Then do that. Imagine you're trying to climb a mountain. You don't need to carry every object you own to the summit. You carry what helps you climb. Life is similar. Some things you need to let go. Maybe it's the need to impress everyone. Maybe it's constant comparison. Maybe it's the habit of saying yes to everything. Maybe it's an addiction to distraction. Maybe it's a goal that you never actually wanted but adopted because someone else told you it was impressive. Simplify. Protect your attention. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If you spend 5 hours every day consuming other people's opinions, don't be surprised when you struggle to hear your own. If you constantly switch between goals, don't be surprised when none of them gets finished. Focus isn't about doing more things, it's about doing fewer things with greater intention. Choose your priorities, give them your attention, and learn to say no. No is one of the most powerful words in the language of achievement. No to unnecessary distractions, no to pointless arguments, no to constant comparison, no to opportunities that pull you away from your purpose. Every time you say no to something that doesn't matter, you're saying yes to something that does. Another powerful lesson from Musashi is adaptability. The world changes, circumstances change, people change, plans fail, unexpected problems appear. And sometimes the strategy that worked yesterday simply doesn't work today. That's not always a reason to quit. Sometimes it's a reason to adjust. This is where many people struggle. They become attached to the method instead of the mission. They say, "This is how I plan to do it." But life doesn't care about your original plan. You can have the perfect 5-year plan and discover 6 months later that reality has other ideas. The goal may remain the same. The route may need to change. Imagine you're driving somewhere and the road is blocked. You have 2 choices. You can sit there for 3 hours complaining that the road was supposed to be open. Or you can find another route. Your destination hasn't changed, only the path has. That's adaptability. If your business strategy isn't working, learn. If your study method isn't working, change it. If your career isn't giving you the life you want, reassess. If your routine is impossible to maintain, simplify it. Changing direction isn't necessarily failure. Sometimes it is evidence that you're paying attention. But adaptation doesn't mean abandoning your principles every time something becomes difficult. There's a difference between flexibility and quitting. Flexible people adjust their methods while staying committed to their values. Quitters abandon the mission whenever the road gets uncomfortable. So ask yourself, what am I committed to? Then ask, what am I willing to change? Your answer to the first question gives you stability. Your answer to the second gives you adaptability. You need both. Because the strongest person isn't necessarily the one who never bends. Sometimes strength is knowing when to bend without breaking. Perhaps the greatest lesson we can take from the Book of Five Rings is that mastery is never really finished. There is always another level, another weakness to improve, another lesson to learn, another mistake to understand. And this mindset can completely change the way you see life. Instead of asking, "When will I finally arrive?" you start asking, "Who can I become next?" That's a much more powerful question. Because if your happiness depends entirely on reaching some imaginary finish line, you'll spend your life waiting. But if you learn to enjoy the process of becoming better, the journey itself becomes meaningful. You don't need to become perfect. You need to become better. 1% better, one decision better, one habit better, one lesson wiser, one failure more intelligent, one challenge stronger. And don't underestimate small progress. A person who improves consistently for years can become almost unrecognizable compared with who they were at the beginning. The difference isn't always dramatic. It's often quiet. Getting up earlier, keeping your promises, reading instead of scrolling, training when you don't feel like it, saving instead of spending impulsively, choosing patience instead of anger, doing the difficult thing instead of the easy thing. These choices don't usually make headlines, but they build character. And character eventually builds your life. So don't worry if you're not where you want to be yet. You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be moving. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep adapting, keep showing up. And remember that the greatest opponent you will ever face isn't another person. It's the version of yourself that is comfortable staying exactly where you are. Miyamoto Musashi lived centuries ago, but his central message still feels remarkably modern. Master yourself. Know your strengths. Understand your weaknesses. Stay calm under pressure. Simplify your life. Adapt when circumstances change, and keep walking your path. You don't have to become someone else. You don't have to live according to somebody else's definition of success. You don't need to win every battle. You need to become the kind of person who can face the next one. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't ask yourself whether you feel motivated. Ask yourself what needs to be done. Then do it. One step, one decision, one day at a time. Because greatness isn't usually created in one spectacular moment. It's built quietly, through ordinary days when nobody is watching. That is the way. And your path begins with the next step. If this video gave you something to think about, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a little motivation today. And remember, you don't have to conquer the world. Conquer yourself first.